Hey guys, welcome back to Burnout's Hot Rod Shop. On this episode, we're going to look at some stuff I picked up at the Blue Ridge Flea Market. Go figure, right? And a couple of the local restores. There are two that are a little bit farther from me, but honestly, their prices are a little bit better. So let me get this thing flipped around and I'll show you what I got. So here we are. As you can see, we extend off the screen this way quite a ways. I'm actually touching the last stuff. And then this is actually the last guy over here. So pretty good size, but we will start bringing the things together. We're going to start off with what I picked up at the restores. And the two restores I went to. The first one, I got some furniture for our flea market booth. And it was all in there 40% off. And then I picked up this guy. He was originally $2, but he was 40% off too. And this one is a J.H. Williams adjustable wrench. You can see there, alloy B. It's an 8-inch super adjustable, and it's the locking style. So this one, the knurl's in really nice shape. And if we lock it, it locks nice and tight. If we pop this back open, you can see it still has red paint on it. The jaws look pretty good. Little bit of use. Honestly, I think that mark right there is about the worst thing on it. This one right here. And my guess is that's from floating around a toolbox. So for a little over $1, I think that was a really nice pickup. Lots of times when I pick these up, the knurls have been replaced and this pin's gone. It has a standard pin and not the locking mechanism. I think actually I have the Craftsman version with the locking mechanism. I'm not sure if I have the Williams. So this will be going in my Williams box. Like I say, that was at the first restore, and that's all I got at that one, tool-wise. Now the rest of the stuff, I'll start with what's off screen. And all of their tools were 40% off. So the first thing I grabbed was this 3-pack of double opens. So I got the cool 19/30 seconds, 11/16, 5/8 3/4, and a 3/4 7/8. And I think one of these is a VV, the others are V's. If I remember right, this was marked at $6. So I paid a little over $1 a wrench when I took the 40% off. And we'll jump into another one that's off screen. This was $5 and 40% off. And it's the long metric with the Crown logo pouch. I am generally not an Allen key person, but when they're in the pouch, especially if they're the older, like this, the Crown mechanism where they put metric on it at an angle. Unfortunately, they Sharpied the $5 on, so Tub of Tells is going to go to that. But I'm kind of a sucker for these when they're in the pouch. It's an 8-piece set. It has 7 of the pieces. I'm trying to think. It might be the 2.5 that was missing. I can't remember. I'll have to look at it again. I probably have that. I've got a bunch of these. I take the Craftsman Allen keys that I get in toolboxes, and I set them aside in a baggie in case I come across this. Although being the longer ones, I may not have it, but I'll check. Next up was this guy, and that is a Craftsman Professional hammer loop. You can see this one still has the price tag on it. Everything else was in bags, so I took it out of the bag so you could see it better. It was $2, again 40% off. And this is the nice hammer loop with the metal hinge to hang it, and then the pen pouch. Doesn't look like it's ever actually been used. Looks like it's just kind of been laid around, no real rub and wear marks back here. Going in this direction, like if it was hooked on a belt, stuff going this way, like it was tossed around a toolbox, that kind of thing. This I'll get cleaned up. I actually have some Harley Davidson saddle black, and it's an oil to help take black leather back to black. So I may end up using some of that on here, and it doesn't really have a dye to it. I've used it on dark brown, and it just makes the dark brown look a little bit more rich. So I may use that on here and see how it makes this guy look. Next up from that restore, I got a bag of screwdrivers. They were $3 for this bag. And here, let's do this. I got one of these. There's no marking other than some guy named Clay. I'm guessing owned this. I don't even see Made in USA, but I know I've seen these before that say Made in USA. It could have been printed in white and just not be there any longer. This is just one of those generic, almost looks like a snap-on, but not. This guy is a nice little pocket screwdriver. And it's an Enders USA. And I like that it's got the octagon shaft. And it's a flathead. That flathead seems to be in really nice shape. And it's heavy for being a pocket screwdriver. This might be my heaviest pocket screwdriver. Next thing out of that bag is this Klein Tools. And it's a square bit. Then get down to the two that I really wanted it for, because I always pick up Craftsman. It's a 1/8 Made in USA, Western Forge. And aside from being a little bit rusty, the tip is in really nice shape on this one as well. And then one I didn't have for my SK box, got this flathead stubby. Again, really nice tip. And of course, it's an SK. So I really thought these would be worth the $3 minus the 40%. So I don't know, $1.60 or whatever that is. And the rest are all kind of bonus. I do have quite a bit of Klein in my booth, so that'll be going in the booth. I'm probably going to keep this guy. You can always do it for a nice pocket screwdriver, right? And then these will end up in my dollar bin. Next on the list, we'll look at these 8 wrenches. So when we look at these guys, these are the generic forged in USA. And it's a 7/8 and 13/16. In pretty good shape, just needs a light cleaning. And we've got a set that goes all the way down to the 9/16 and a half. So that's the 4-piece set in SAE. And then I've also got the 4-piece set in metric, which I don't see very often in these forged in USAs. So this gives us our 17/16. And then we work our way down to an 11 and 10. These I'm probably going to clean up. And I don't keep these things, but I think I'm going to keep these 2 sets just because it gives me the SAE and the metric. They're all in pretty nice shape, just need a little bit of cleanup, and they'll look good on my desk. Usually these would go in a bin that I've got with Made in USA stuff, which I think I do still have a ton of these in there. So if you need some, come out to the marketplace. I'm not sure that I have the metrics because I don't see the metrics very often. And finally from the restore, and it was $8, and then the 40% off, so $6 or whatever. And finally there was this guy, he was $20, and then 40% off, so at $8 off of that 20. So we're talking 12 bucks. These, usually they tape them to cardboard. These were taped to cardboard too, but the tape had come loose from the cardboard, so they were just wadded up in tape with a piece of cardboard in the bag. We can see we've got the 5/8 down to 5/16, and they are the speed wrenches. I do have some sets of these on the card that I sell. These I may end up keeping because I actually don't have a set of these speed wrenches in my Craftsman box. And then the two that really, when I saw these, like, yeah, I definitely got to have this, was that 25/30 seconds underline C vanadium and 3/4, and that's an offset box end. And then the 7/16 and 3/8 underline C vanadium offset box head. So yeah, anytime I see underline C, especially when it's in nice shape like this. I want to pick it up. And I think for, what did I say, $12, this was a nice setup. I'm not going to complain. So that's what I picked up at the Restores. Lots of good stuff there. Now we'll see if I can pan this over without losing you. Yeah, not too bad. We'll get these guys moved over a little bit. And these were 2 buys and a freebie from a friend. So we'll start off with the freebie from a friend. And that's this hammer handle. I'm not sure who used that aqua blue. If you know, let me know in the comments. It's a fairly small handle. It does have some splitting, unfortunately. Actually, one split I think is the cut. Someone put just a really bad cut in there, and then these others are splits. So I may end up just chopping this down, reshaping this edge. But this was a free gift from Rolly at the flea market, or at the Marketplace 316, where I have a booth set up. And Rolly, he gave me some hammerheads a few weeks ago, and then he brought me a handle, and I think I can change this shape enough to make it fit one of the hammerheads he gave me. So I'll try that out and see if I can get it to work. Next up was all this. So we got these Craftsman pieces, this guy, and then this Craftsman piece that I got from one vendor. And this is still in the package, the Craftsman pocket socket, the 6 and 10 inch. Yeah, it's in really nice shape. Still has the anti-theft tag on the back. Make sure you don't steal it. And it's made in USA. And it is, of course, a Sears product, not a more modern Stanley. This will be wiped down with Subatolis, and it will be displayed in my booth at Marketplace 316 very shortly. So if you want something like this, stop by. Next thing I picked up from him was this. And this is a Craftsman quarter drive 14-piece set. The number is there, the 934747. Made in USA, of course. Warranted forever, whether Stanley likes it or not. There's our ratchet. And all of our sockets. I actually didn't look to see what series they were. It didn't matter. They're still in the package. It's a G2. So this was a nice, quick little set back in the day when you just needed a little quarter drive set to get something done. These were handy to pick up. I probably picked up 4 or 5 of them back in the day and used them and lost them and that kind of thing. That will be at my booth. Next thing I got was this guy. And this was new old stock as well. And it's the quarter drive with the flex shaft. So I'm not sure if I have one of these, or I'm not sure if I have one that's in good shape. If not, this will be going in my box. If I do have a good one, then this will be for sale as well at the marketplace. Finally, in the new old stock Craftsman stuff I got from him, this 7-piece cushion grip T-handle set, Craftsman made in USA. There's our sizes. So they are SAE sizes. And there's our information for the full unlimited warranty. And these sold by Sears and Roebuck. These I do not have, but I don't know that I would want to use these that are still in the package. I know there's people who like to collect items still in the package. So this may get a quick wipe down with tub of towels as well and make its way out to the booth. I'm not sure. We'll have to see. And then from that same guy, he does have a lot of old tools usually. So I always look through and see what he's got. He likes to take his wrenches and sockets and just pour a quart of oil in with them so they're kind of floating in oil so they don't rust any further. But this one is a 7/8, 1228 USA. And there's the Plum logo. So I think this one will clean up pretty well. Looks like it has the makings of being a pretty good Plum wrench in 7/8. So anytime I see, Plum or underline C or anything with him, I make sure I grab it. It's not very often with him. He has a lot of newer stuff, but once in a while. So that was all one buy. And then here was another buy. This one was a $5 buy. And this was from the same guy that I got the in the box Craftsman drill bit sharpener and something else that's right behind me a couple weeks ago. Today he had this Williams box sitting out here, and I don't have any of these that are the orange and blue. So I went over and looked at it. It had a bunch of just miscellaneous tools. So I narrowed down the miscellaneous to the miscellaneous things I would want. And we'll start off with this guy. That's a 3/4. And you can see it's a C24. So it's a C-series socket from Craftsman. Don't see those very often. This one's been painted black, but we'll get all that taken off of there. And we've got a few other sockets in here. Get them stood up. We'll go through what those are real quick. I was hoping that this would have the socket I needed, but it didn't. We'll start off with this Williams 3/4, 1/2-inch drive, 12-point. Another 1/2-inch drive, 9/16 Williams, 12-point. In here was this Proto Professional. And that's a 9/16 12-point. Here we've got another Williams 9/16 12-point, and that's a 3/8 drive. The Proto was a 3/8 drive as well. And then a 1/2-inch Williams. And that's a 12-point. So the one I'm missing from the set that I picked up back at Jacktown is a 7/16. When I saw the half, I was really hoping it was what I needed, but it wasn't. This box will clean up really nice, I think. I'm not sure that I'm going to paint it. It doesn't seem to be in too bad a shape. Definitely won't paint the lid. The sticker and everything are in really nice shape. I'll get the Craftsman off of here. So I'm going to put that on with the chalk pen. But not a bad box. And he charged me $5 for all the sockets in the box. I was more than happy if I'd have paid $5 just for the box. So that's what I picked up today between Habitat for Humanity and Blue Ridge Flea Market. Hey guys, so what'd you think? Did you have a favorite? There's a lot of really cool stuff. The Williams box was definitely awesome. The underline C wrenches were really cool. Probably that C-series socket was my favorite. I was excited to see that. I went through his whole box of sockets hoping I'd find another one, and there weren't any more. But I got one, so that's always cool, right? So I don't know if I can pick a favorite, but those are probably my top three. The Plum wrench is good. The new in package Craftsman's pretty awesome. So let me know what your favorite was. Maybe that'll be my favorite by the time I read it. Anyway, guys, remember, I'm burnout. I love you, and there ain't nothing you can do about it.